Every morning it's the same. Feed pigs, check rat traps. And let me get a light. Oh, hey, the live trap went off. Is there anything in there? Nothing in the good natures. Lots of tracks on the bucket trap. And all of my peanut butter on the ramp going to the bucket trap is gone. There might be something in there. There's a couple of tracks that are like scratch marks more, so like maybe one did fall in. Let's see. Huh. Well, I don't see anything in there. But it sure does look like somebody slid down in. Oh my, what was that? There is something in the live trap. Callie, get out of there. Holy smokes, that scared me. He was hiding. Well. That rat must have been hiding under the trap door there. I could see that the trap had been triggered, but I didn't see anything in there until Callie came up and sniffed it and it squawked at her. If you're new to the channel or just joining, I've sort of had an ongoing issue going on here in this little corner of the shop with rats. And I've caught several really big ones on the trail cam, one especially. And I'm not sure that this is the big one, but it's a pretty good sized rat anyway. These live traps do have a little plate right by the handle, so whatever's in there can't get you, but I still wear a welding glove because I don't know if I trust that plate. And the last thing I want is to get bit by a rat. So if you're wondering why the welding glove is there, that's why. Callie, get out of here. He's a feisty one, that's for sure. People might be wondering, what now that I've got him in the trap? Well, of course, we're just gonna set him loose outside. Well, that's one down, which is awesome. It took me a long time to catch anything over here, and it feels good to be putting a dent in the population. I will reset the live trap, but I'll be honest with you, I don't expect to catch anything in it for quite a while, if ever again, from this group, just because it seems like once you catch one, the others learn not to go in there. But you know, it is worth a try. Anyway, that's not what we're doing today, but that is a good way to start the day. Today the plan is to get the stock trailer fixed. That's what's going on today on Farmertylerranch. This is the first time that I've actually been able to use the second function of my 3-point bale spear, and that is, of course, the gooseneck ball that's mounted right here above it. This works pretty good. The tractor is a lot more maneuverable than the truck is, obviously, but the part that is a little bit tough to get used to is that you don't have any mirrors, so it's very difficult to see behind you or see where you're going without standing up and kind of leaning over to see. Well, that chicken sure sounds proud of herself. She must have just laid an egg. In case you missed it on a previous video, there's several cracks that are developing on the corner of this trailer, and today I need to get them fixed because tomorrow my plan is to use the trailer. So it'd be, you know, nice if it was in good shape and ready to go. So I've got this slat here that is cracked, and well, I shouldn't say the slat is cracked. The weld is cracked. That was holding it on there. So we need to weld up here. And then on the wall sheeting too, a bunch of these are starting to crack out as well. So as I'm looking at this, I think the first thing that I need to do is take this trim piece off of the end. That'll enable me to clamp this stuff together to close those gaps up. And then I can also put a little heat sink here on the other side of the aluminum, which will make it a little bit easier to weld. Looks to me that this trim piece is held on with 6 rivets. So hopefully it's just a matter of drilling these out and it'll pop right off of here. Next step is going to be getting these areas that we have to weld cleaned up. So I'll start with a wire brush, and then we'll take some acetone in here and get it real clean. Next, I'm going to clean these cracked areas up with acetone. This is probably an optional step because I'm not TIG welding this. I'm just using a spool gun on my MIG welder, so it doesn't need to be like surgically clean. But I still think that the cleaner the metal is, the less impurities and the stronger the weld is going to be. So it's worth it to just take the extra time. Not too dirty, actually. One thing I would like to point out, if you're going to clean your metal for the purposes of welding, be it MIG welding or TIG welding, do not use brake cleaner. A lot of people, that's kind of like their go-to. Oh, I'll just use brake cleaner. Brake cleaner has something in it. I don't remember what it is. It's not important, but when it burns, it creates poisonous gas. Acetone will not do that. So if you're cleaning your metal, use acetone. Okay, I think we can back this thing up a little bit closer to the shop where the welder will reach it and go ahead and try to get these welded. I assume, like most people, I've only got one 220 outlet in the shop, and of course it's on the farthest wall here away from the door. So I got this, it's a 20-foot extension cord. I think this is 6 gauge, which is the same size wire that the plug on the welder uses. Got this little piece of 1/2 inch thick flat bar clamped up to the trailer here. Not only is this going to help hold the piece in place, but this is also going to act as a heat sink, so as I'm welding, it'll absorb a lot of that heat behind the metal and make it a little bit harder for me to blow through, which, you know, happens from time to time. I made the mistake that I was trying not to make, and that is I burned through it, but I was able to fill the hole in with weld, and I'm hoping once I get the trim piece on here, this won't be that obvious, but that hurt my pride just a little bit. Well, I think I'm done here. This did not go according to plan. When I came into this job, I was pretty confident based off of all the practice that I had done on my pieces in the shop, but this stuff on the trailer really welded nothing like the stuff that I was practicing on. The setting that I'd come up with really didn't work. It was kind of just like starting from scratch, honestly. The repair welds down here on the wall of the trailer actually weren't that bad. This one on the bottom is probably the best. I would say it's every bit as good as any other weld on this trailer. This one up here, kind of ugly, but still I think will be plenty strong enough. And the one on the top is, again, it's nothing to brag about, but it's passable. This repair on the top though, this gave me a ton of trouble, and I don't know what is going on. This just would never weld clean. It acted like there was no shielding gas coming out of the machine. I can hear the shielding gas coming out of it. I even cranked it up to like 50 CFH, and that did kind of get it to work a little bit better, but the settings, just nothing worked right on this. I don't know why. It's not very windy today. You know, I would have thought, well, maybe because it's up here, the wind was blowing through and I was losing my shielding gas, but I mean, it's like 1 or 2 mile an hour winds, just enough for the air to move a little bit, but not much at all. Even though it is ugly, and I don't like showing it because I know the critics will be out in full force on this one, I think it potentially could be strongish. It's definitely stronger than what it was, which was nothing. So I don't know, kind of want to take a dead blow hammer and just smack this and see what happens. Does that prove anything? I don't know, probably not. Now I gotta see if I have any 3/16 rivets. Not 3/16. Maybe. Well, I should be done, but as I'm riveting this trim piece back on, it does kind of seem like there should be another rivet right here, and there's not. So I've got the drill here, I've got the all the tools are here. I'm just going to add one. That's much better. The plan for tomorrow is to figure out which steers we're going to put into our harvest steer program, figure out which heifers we're going to use as replacements, and whatever calves I have here that don't fall into that category are going to get loaded up onto that trailer and take a ride down to the sale barn. It's because of that is why it was important to get that trailer finished today. The steers that I select are going to be largely based on their performance numbers throughout the year, but you know, numbers and data only go so far. They have to pass the eye test as well. Oftentimes the evening before I know I'm going to run cattle through these corrals, I'll walk through them just to make sure that everything is as I left it and that I'm not going to be in for any surprises in the morning. It's also not a bad idea to get some gates set and just kind of get things prepared so that everything's ready to go. I'm pretty satisfied. Everything looks good over here. There's no problems that I wasn't already aware of. So I think we should be ready to go for the morning. You guys ready? Okay, get in. Good girls. I think the last time I took the dogs for a run on camera, Belly was pretty much limited to like 10 miles an hour. It was about as fast as she could go for any length of time. Now she's up to about 15. She has bursts of holding 20, but she can probably do 15 all day long. Getting fast. In total, this was not a cheap repair. I had to buy the spool gun, I had to buy the shielding gas, and I ended up buying a piece of aluminum to practice on. The spool gun I picked up for around $275, I think, and the shielding gas was about $250. So altogether, we're a little over $500 in this repair. And while that may sound like a lot of money to spend on one single repair, and it is, I seriously think that if I was to hire somebody to do this job, that it probably would have costed somewhere around that, maybe even more. And not only that, but now I have the tools to do this again, and odds are I probably will need to fix this trailer again at some point. If you look it over really closely, you can find little hairline cracks starting in various places. Like this one's on the fender, not a critical weld to the structure of the trailer, but still, if it got too bad, it would need to be repaired at some point. I mean, let's face it, I'm probably never going to get another stock trailer. I feel like this is just the one that I'm going to have forever. So it makes sense to have the tools and the knowledge to be able to fix it. I've got the tools now. The knowledge might still need a little bit of work. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.